Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Wager Talk TV. This is First Pitch. My name is Andrew McGinnis, joined by Dave Koken, Tony Finn, Hunter Englehart. I'll start with you here, Dave. You cashed your 5% winner in the NHL yesterday on the Calgary Flames. You don't make too many 5% plays. So first and foremost, hats off to you. 3-0 MLB and NHL for you on Tuesday with the winner and NHL, like I said. Congratulations.
Well, thanks. It was Calgary and the game outside of a 9-second span in the second period, which was not fun. The game went pretty much as I thought it would. And I rarely step out with big plays like that. I have no idea when the next one will be, but glad it got there. And the two baseball plays were pretty easy, so I was happy with those. I did lose a KBO play this morning, small play on the under. First five in one of the games and lost it with 2 outs in the fifth. So that's the way it goes. But things are rolling again, and looking forward to today's action. I know you have a big play scheduled today, and that's a 5%er in the NHL, Andrew, and also on a pretty nice baseball run, 12-4.
Yeah, things are going pretty good. And the 5% NHL run, it's 11-2, my last 13 5% NHL plays. And Wager Talk has actually extended my $2 Tuesday play, so you can still get that play for $2 at wagertalk.com. And as far as packages go today, Dave, I know you're keeping it pretty low volume here today. What can we grab from you over at the website?
I have only one play. I do have a hockey play as well, but that's subscribers only. That's all access because it's actually a -1 play, and I rated them both at 2%. I have one best bet in baseball, and go grab it now. I think it's going to win.
Hunter, welcome back to the show. You're a 3-0 on 4% plays so far on the season. I believe you have one 4% play in your 2-pack over at sportsmemo.com. Tell us about what we can grab from you in baseball or all access passes and other sports as well.
Yeah, well, right now I'm on, like you said, a 3-0 run. Totals plays have been by far my most successful plays. So it is a 4% play, and it is a totals play up right now. It's a 2-pack, and then the other play is a 3% run line play, which I really like today. So you can get that over at Sports Memo, and I always release a play that's for my all access clients only. So if you sign up all access, there's going to be plays that you cannot buy on my webpage. You would have to be in all access to get those plays.
And Tony, I know right now you're doing MLB, NBA as well. What can we grab from you over at wagertalk.com?
I have an MLB play and I have an NBA play. They're not posted yet. They'll be right after the show because I was waiting on some information on the MLB release. I got it a little late, so I couldn't put it up before the program. But they'll be up shortly after we're done here.
Dave, we spoke about the Cubs and Indians game yesterday. We went pretty far into it. We'll get your thoughts here. Indians -120 right now, head-to-head matchup here against the Chicago Cubs.
Still looking at these Indians' offensive numbers, and God, they're awful. A little better at home than on the road, but still 187 against righties is what they're hitting for the season, and the average runs per 9 innings is pretty ugly. Hendricks is one of those home-road dichotomy guys. Trust him way more at Wrigley than I do on the road. And Cookie Carrasco is throwing it great for Cleveland. But, the Cubs are really playing well. And I don't know that I don't like going against teams in this good a form. My numbers here, for what it's worth, 138 is what I made the price. So there is some value on the Indian side. But there's a couple of things I don't like. One is I don't think people have made enough out of the little incident involving 2 of their starting pitchers. That's the kind of thing that can mess with the clubhouse. And let's call it straight. The 2 pitchers were basically suspended for 4 days. Okay, you can call it quarantine or whatever, but they got suspended. And the Cubs are hot. So it's one of those games where I don't trust my numbers. And those are games I generally stay away from, where my numbers say Indians, and I can't argue against that, particularly with Carrasco on the mound. But current form definitely says Cubs.
We got Tom Hart in here saying Andrew 2-5 yesterday, lost the NHL under 5.5 that just happened. I did. I had over 42% bankroll increase in the month of July. And I was right here talking about that as well. So I will not hide from losers. Right now, I'm betting NBA, NHL, and the MLB around 1 or 2 plays in each of those sports daily. So I will be more than comfortable to come on here and say yesterday was a bad day, because I'm more than happy to announce that there will be winning days in the near future. And so I'm not too shy to put that. So Tom, if you're an all access guy, I'm definitely not hiding from that. And the future is bright with more plays tonight and the rest of the week. So just wanted to get that out of the way. Make sure I always announce losers just as much as winners. Tony, I'll go to you here. Any thoughts on the side or total?
Hendricks it's going to be difficult for him to match up what he did to open the season. He didn't do it. He hasn't done it since his first initial start. But this is a guy that's still only pitching to about a 20% hard contact rate. I mean, that's where he makes his living. So Carrasco, I think Carrasco would be perceived as being better at this point in time if, like Dave said, the Indians could score. In truth, this is really a game where you're supposed to really like Carrasco and what he's able to do and what he's done and what he's capable of doing. But it's difficult to feel so damn good about Carrasco and the Indians when they're just simply not getting the big hit. I think the number's right in this game. I passed for several reasons, mostly because I like Carrasco and the Indians aren't hitting, so it's hard for me to release this game.
So Tony, we've consistently bashed this Indians offense and you know the way that they've looked throughout the season. Maybe a couple bright spots here. Mm-hmm. What do you think overall? We're seeing some 7.5s now at some books. I mean, is there a point where you have to start looking the opposite way and say, hey, look, this number is getting too low?
Yeah, it's as far as I'm concerned, it is too low. It's too low for an American League game, and that's what we're looking at right now with the DH being in the National League. We should have American League totals for the most part. In this situation, the 7.5 applies. It applies to the weather. It applies to the fact that Carrasco's 3-0 with a 4.05 ERA and 6 career starts against the Reds. Everything fits for a low-scoring game in a pitcher's duel. Mm-hmm. And if the Indians aren't hitting, like Dave said, the Cubs they're playing okay. They're playing better. And true, they're probably in better form than the Indians, offense balance-wise. So I think the 7.5 is correct.
I think they're 11-3.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess they're in better form.
And for you, Hunter, any thoughts on this Cubs Indians matchup? Do you have a wager on it?
Well, I agree with both what these guys are saying. I mean, Hendricks isn't at home. You pretty much bet on every single time, and away he's been historically not good. His last away outing, 6 earned runs against the Reds. The Indians are not hitting well at all, especially with runners in scoring position. But there's one thing with Hendricks here which makes me like the Indians, and I do like the Indians in the first half. The one thing is Hendricks is bad with runners in scoring position this year and last year. 231 batting average against last year with no one on base, jumps up to 279 with people on base, and 301 with runners in scoring position. This year, it's 161 when no one's on base, 391 when there's a runner on first, and then batters are hitting 400 against him with runners in scoring position. So if there's a team who's struggling with hitting in runners in scoring position, it's Cleveland Indians. And if they're going to have a pitcher to turn that around, I think it is Hendricks. Carrasco looks amazing this year. I mean, he's striking out guys left and right. The Cubs actually have the 5th worst strikeout percentage right now in the MLB. Carrasco's got 23 Ks over 18 innings pitched. So if I'm on a side, I'm on the side of Indians and first half only. I'm going to stay away from the first game, but I do like the Indians in the first half.
3 straight.
I want to ask a question. And I'll play devil's advocate, Hunter.
Yeah.
The Cubs bullpen is atrocious, and the Indians bullpen has been very good. So why first 5 instead of full game?
Because I don't know who's going to come out of the bullpens for the Indians. I don't know who's going to come out of the Cubs. Like there was a person in the chat box that just asked Dave if you have a website.
Hunter, I want to get more into that because he says, do they randomly pick? You know, look, you've played the game at a high level, Hunter. I think, all of us can really explain this, but I think it's completely situational based. Can you elaborate on that?
It is completely, it depends on who threw yesterday, how they feel this morning when they played catch. It depends on how many runners are on. Now this new rule where you got to pitch to 3 batters, so the lefty righty. So when I handicap games, I do 90% of my games are first 5 innings because that's the only clear-cut data that I have for that game is I know this guy's going to start. I know this guy's going to start. And if he does his job, the starter, he's going to go at least 5 innings. So I base everything off first 5 innings because I have no idea what could happen in the 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th inning. So that is why I stick to first 5, and that is why I like the Indians first 5, because I know Carrasco is going to be out there, and if he does his job, he's going to be out there for 5 innings. And the Cubs with a terrible bullpen, if they knock Hendricks out in the 3rd inning, well, we're in the bullpen already in the 4th or 5th inning. So that's where I am on that.
Hunter looking to cash in on his 4th straight 4% winner over at Sports Memo. Of course, you can find both Tony and Dave at wagertalk.com. Nearly on 200 people here in this live chat. We have Repo Man, Cornell, Robert, Tom, Jeffrey, a very, very active chat box, guys. Continue to drop any questions you might have for our panel, and we'll try and get to those, just display them on the screen and get the best answers we can for you. Moving forwards, I'll start with you, Mr. Finn, with the Twins, minus 130 favorites over the Brewers.
I think the number's right in this game. He's been fantastic, and I'm not one who's pimped him or backed him or given him probably the accolades that this guy deserves. On the other side, you got an Eric Lauer who has some advantages today against a good hitting Twins lineup. One of them is that and while the sample size is small, guys, the Twins haven't been as good against left-handed pitching as I thought they should have been this year. This may be one of those games where Lauer isn't who the Milwaukee Brewers need him to be, but I think everything in this game is right. I think the number's right. I think that it makes it pretty difficult for me to just have one team stand out, or for me to jump out and say, Dave, guys, I love this team. I think everything sits properly here, and I pass.
Is there a side that sticks out for you in this one, Hunter?
For me, it's going to be the Twins, just because I would rather have the Twins lineup than the Brewers lineup, honestly. And I do like Medea. I did think he mixes up his pitch as well. I think he's learning how to pitch, especially coming out of the pen or a starter. You kind of have to diversify yourself to be able to do that. And just because I like the Twins against left-handed pitching as well, so I'm just on the Twins if I had to pick a side. And I think it's relatively cheap. I think it should be probably minus 140, minus 145. So I think there is some value on the Twins.
I made the price on this 145.
Hey, there you go, Dave.
The Brewers, I believe, I didn't update my numbers this morning. I just ran into some stuff. But as of yesterday, they were the worst first 5 offense in baseball. They just have not been able to get runs early in games. So I would look at the Twins' first 5 here. The reason I wouldn't look at them full game is the Twins' bullpen their key guys have gotten used a little bit. I don't think the closer will be available here. He got the loss yesterday. And I think the Brewers, now Hader did get used yesterday, but I think the Brewers are going to go away from the past Hader trend of not using him in back-to-back days. I think if they need him, he's going to be available here. So I really don't want the back end of this game. I need the Twins to take advantage of Lauer early. He's a very pedestrian pitcher. His stuff is ordinary. The Twins aren't hitting the ball a lot right now. Eddie Rosario is. He's been the offense for the last couple of days. He hit the grand slam on Monday. He hit 2 more yesterday, so he's getting hot. But, if he can get a little help from his teammates, maybe this is a game where the Twins can break out a little bit, score some runs for Maeda, who has been really good so far. He's been sharp. Maeda is undoing the reputation that he was a Dodger Stadium pitcher. The guy can pitch. He knows what he's doing out there. So I would look that way. I didn't play it, but certainly gave it consideration, the Twins' first 5.
Dave Koken, you can find him at wagertalk.com. I believe NHL, golf, and MLB right now. Those are the 3 sports you're doing, right, Dave?
Yeah. I bet other sports, but basically I'm only tailing some guys that I really respect, MMA and auto racing, and obviously can't put them up as plays. Would be kind of bullshit. So I'm doing baseball, NHL, a little KBO, not as much on KBO, maybe 2 or 3 plays a week. That's about it. And we'll see what happens, whether there's college football next month or not. I think there might be in some limited fashion. And of course, we'll have the NFL as well.
And once again, you're watching First Pitch right here on Wager Talk TV, a 7-day-a-week show. You can find us Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturday and Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern, hosted by Matt Josephs. I'll be away next week, so we'll have Matt Josephs, mid-major Matt, covering for me. He'll be with the crew Monday through Friday.
Is there any possibility that you can lend him that Halifax background? Because it really looks good. I'll have him go to Halifax.
It's funny, Dave. I was saying to Prez today on our hockey show. I mean, he loves to just make fun of Halifax and say that there's like one street in the whole city. So then I decided to find the nicest skyline picture I could find on the internet.
I like that. I like it a lot.
Appreciate it. I appreciate it. We'll move on here to the Padres Dodgers and Padres Dodgers. Dodgers minus 150. I said excuse me because I just feel like we've talked about the Dodgers so much, but they're obviously a fun team to talk about. So I was kind of just second guessing if we were mentioning them today. I'll start with you this time, Dave. I mean, I believe this price just is rightfully so. It's hard to argue with the number we're getting with this one.
Yeah, I mean, my number's higher because I don't have a very good grade for Zach Davies. It's kind of a big game for the Dodgers because they've lost the first two in this series. And Padres certainly have their attention right now. San Diego's playing well. It's a pretty good baseball team. The flip side of it, though, is that Davies has had outstanding command so far. And, that's the thing. It's not – he's never going to be a power pitcher, okay? He doesn't break glass with his fastball. His changeup, it doesn't even look like a changeup because it's not measurably slower than his fastball. But he's putting it right where he wants. And when a guy's got good command, that's not a guy I want to go against. And listen, the Padres have got tons of momentum right now coming out of these two games. I am not one who believes that you should automatically go out there and lay a big price with what's considered to be the superior team because they've lost the first two games in a series. In fact, I've had a tendency over the years to go ahead and take the dog in spots like this because they've got a lot of momentum and they're getting a good price as well. And that certainly is somewhat the situation here. The line has been bet down some. I think if you like the Padres, you kind of missed the boat on this one. You should have grabbed it earlier. But I can't recommend the Dodgers even at 150. Although, based on my prices, the Dodgers would be the side here. But I can't recommend it.
Well, Tony, just like I've been doing throughout quite a bit of the season and this very, very short and young season, I'm not going to bet a side in this game at the minus 150. I'm going to bet the team total over the 4.5 runs here with the Dodgers at a much cheaper price. I believe I got it around minus 130.
I wouldn't argue with that. Here's Dave outlined Davies very well. Davies first, if he's healthy, Davies has always struggled with back issues. It's always been an issue with him, and he's much better against right-handed hitters than he is left-handed. That's been one of his Achilles. I remember last year about this time last year, I was doing a lot of studies on dichotomies, right and left-handed. And I remember looking at Davies and was really surprised at what he'd done against right-handers and how bad it'd been against left-handers, at least at that point in time. In this game, Gosselin, I mean, this is a rookie. This is a guy that you should have a lot of faith in. However, the Padres hit the ball pretty well. I like the over in this game as a total in this game simply because Padres bullpens should be better than they are, but they haven't been. I like the over the total game as you like it over the total first half.
OG Johnson, good question from OG Johnson in the chat. Tatis, MVP of the season so far in the National League? Yeah. Kid's fantastic.
It's exhausting to think about having to pitch to Tatis to lead off. I'm already tired. He's just been really good. Really, is he the future? He's kind of the future of baseball. Unfortunately, he's in San Diego, so we'll see.
Updated score here: the White Sox leading the Tigers 3-1. We saw the Tigers take game one of the series, and ever since then, I believe it's been the White Sox. The Tigers were looking pretty hot, and when I say hot, it was hot for the Tigers, and that might just slow down here. So just a quick little update: Arizona taking on Colorado. That first pitch is 3:10 Eastern time. Dave, I'll get some quick thoughts from you on this one.
My numbers are still favoring Weaver, but that's based more on on where I had him rated before the season in current form. I mean, he's just been awful. He finally he got some of his control back in his last start, but his command was terrible. He was getting right in the middle of the plate. You better not do that at Coors. I still am not going to play against him, but I can't play on Weaver. I'm gonna have to get a buy sign. I made a mistake playing on him in the last game, and he got drilled. So I'm gonna have to wait for a buy sign on Weaver. I love his stuff. I mean, this guy has the potential to be a number 2 starter, but it's not there right now for him. And I don't like Senzatella very much. By the way, Charlie Blackmon is hitting 500 on the season, and he started 0 for 9. So he's hitting like 540 since then, which is absurd. Somebody better cool him off. Just walk the guy.
Yeah, Tony, yesterday on the show, we had quite a bit of a discussion with the A's and Angels. Dave and Teddy going back and forth a little bit about the pitching and just some situational matchups here.
I got
what are your
right.
thoughts today? We've got, yeah, you did.
I did.
4:10 Eastern time, first pitch. Got the A's taking on the Angels.
Anytime a rookie is on the mound this early in the season, and even this season, I'm typically excited because I'm looking for reasons to play against them. Just the way I'm just that's just my MO. It's always been how I felt comfortable. In this situation, you really, at this price, you're really supposed to like Oakland and Bassett. He's been fantastic. He hasn't given up I don't think he's given up more than 2 earned runs all season. Story is here. The Angels are hitting the ball. They're healthy. When they hit 6, I don't know how many home runs they hit last night in a shutout, 6-0 shutout. However, again, I'll bet against the rookie, and I'll take Goff.
And by the way, Mike Fiers was horrific
last
night, and I'm sticking with what I said. And I know Fiers had some good stuff in the past, but it's the past. I mean, he's got no velocity, and he was throwing meatballs up there yesterday. And Dylan Bundy is a new pitcher.
Wow, no doubt.
I mean, I'm telling you, he's not going to blow guys away with velocity as he once did when he was coming up. But I'm telling you what, he has mastered that slider. He's got a lot of bite, and he's an impressive pitcher right now.
Yeah, well, Dave, I know that you read the game, and you said you're not really much of like a using models guy. You make your own numbers, and I think that that way of thinking yesterday was just straight out of your head. I think that if you look at numbers and statistically, I think the thought process might have been a little bit different. But like you said, that's in the past and this is the present. And to me, I think that's the difference about using numbers to create a play and using numbers to formulate an opinion. I think that the way you played that one, obviously it could have gone either way. You never know what's going to happen in sports, but that was just a straight up opinion that ended up being your way. And
most of my baseball plays are opinion. I mean, I definitely look at numbers, and I do look at one model specifically. I'll tell you who it is. It's Clear Data. My guys there, good friends of mine, and they have a very reliable model. So I like to see what the raw numbers are based on the model, but most of what I do is based on my perception more than anything else. And and sometimes I'm way off, as I was with Weaver the last time he pitched. But fortunately, I'm way on more often than I'm way off. That's what comes from watching the game. As I am a lifelong seam head. I've been watching this game since I was a little kid, and I do know the game.
That model you're talking about, blonde or brunette, that should give out on the first date.
That's different kind of models. Those models I'd pay way more attention to. But they unfortunately, I'm at the age where they are not going to pay attention to me.
Different models, eh? Hunter, little segue here with some rookies and a younger guy here. We have Pearson pitching for this Jays team. He throws some heat, man. He brings it, and he looks quite comfortable out there. And I think we've discussed the fact that with no fans, not really much of an actual home crowd, obviously, besides some cardboard cutouts in a few different stadiums, that pressure might be a little bit taken away. But yesterday I had a run line loser with the Toronto Blue Jays. I saw 3 runs come in the 9th inning to completely just take that one away from me. But what do you think here with Pearson on the mound?
Yeah, I like Pearson, actually. Like you said, he throws gas, and when you watch him pitch, his windup, if you're a batter and you're looking at the way he throws that ball, he is putting everything into it. I mean, it's very, very intimidating, and he attacks the zone. I mean, he's not scared of anybody. He's a strikeout guy. I really like him in this situation, but I also like Yamamoto too. I mean, these Marlins are still in first place, I believe. It's very surprising, but I like the under in this game, so I don't think there's gonna be tons and tons of runs here. I do think the Blue Jays are gonna hit a little better. Now that they have this is going to be their second game at their home field. A lot of these guys have played in Buffalo, so they should be familiar with the locker rooms and the city and just being in a stadium. So if I were to lean aside here, I'm going to take the Blue Jays, and I like the under.
We have a scoring update, by the way. The Dylan Cease just got blown up in the White Sox-Tigers game. Detroit's going up 5-3, bottom of the fourth. And for those wondering about the hockey game, Hurricanes and Bruins still tied at 3, getting late in the first of what I hope isn't 5 overtimes.
Wouldn't that just be hell for the NHL? Another big overtime.
Really?
Wouldn't that be just a nightmare for them? Let me ask you this quickly around the panel here. Tony, do the Tigers blow this one?
Do they what? I'm sorry?
Do they blow it, or do they hold the lead?
I'll tell you when the game's over.
They're in decent position. You know, the Tigers' bullpen has been a surprise so far this season.
Yeah,
I don't know if it
that's a really
holds
good
up.
way to not be wrong. Just don't make a selection.
They played. Listen, after the first inning, after yesterday's first inning in the Tigers game, they played well. They pitched well, and they have pitched well, better than I thought they would this year. Dave, you're right. And this game, if you give me what do you want to give me? I'll take Tigers right now at minus 200. So fourth inning.
That's the
I'll
end
tell
of
you
the
what.
fourth.
I'll bet you a beer.
You're on.
Bet you a beer. I'll take
You're
Chicago.
Right. You're on.
And I'll see you in 2 years when I'm allowed to travel to Vegas again.
Oh, it will have 2 years. Yeah, that's a stiff sentence.
We'll see. We'll see if I'm allowed to leave this province by then. Anyway, moving forwards, we'll go down the list here. Again, we got KC, Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a team that everybody loved to talk about to start this season off. Any radio show, handicapping show you looked at,
Not me.
you wanted to bring up the Cincinnati Reds.
Not me.
Not Dave.
Nope,
However, I will say personally for me, I think this kind of brings betting opportunities, bet on spots now for the Cincinnati team to try and reach 500 and trying to actually show some pride here. This is such a very short season that you have to look at desperation at a certain point, and desperation doesn't always mean a win. But I think this team will get it going here. I think Wade Miley will deal tonight, and we're getting a very good price with him.
Yeah, I think there's a reason you're getting a good. Yeah, you can have him. I'm not betting the Royals because I don't think the price justifies it. But the Royals are hitting lefties. Okay, and I'm not surprised by that because they've got a righty-centric lineup. Merrifield, Soler. These guys can mash, and now they've got Dozier back healthy as well. I don't like their pitching staff, and I'm not a big Keller guy, but Miley, I put him in the same category as Mike Fiers. He's a guy who did it with mirrors. I think he had a stretch of like 20 games in a row where he'd given up 3 or less runs, and it's like, how in the hell is Wade Miley doing that with that assortment of crap that he throws? Because he's a junk baller, and to me, it's.
But he's not playing the Dodgers, Dave. He's playing the Royals.
Yeah, but the Royals are hitting the ball. I mean, they're hitting particularly. Listen, they're hitting .302 for the season against lefties. That's pretty damn good. They've got some guys that can hit. Their pitching staff isn't very good, and at times their defense is underwhelming. But they top of their order, the bottom of their order stinks. Okay, but the first 5 guys in that order are not bad. Whit Merrifield is the most. I will tell you, Whit Merrifield's the most underrated player in baseball. He is.
Any thoughts
stud.
on this game?
If I'm gonna look, I think the first 5 under 5.5 has some value here. Other than that, it's a coin flip to me. It really depends on how Miley does. But if I'm gonna play this game, I'm gonna play 5.5 is a big number in my opinion, and you can get it right around even money, maybe minus 105, minus 103. So if there's a play that I'm on, it would be the first 5 under this game.
Tony, Tanaka on the mound for the Yankees as they take on the Braves.
Is Tanaka still on the mound?
He was last time I checked. He was, but
Yeah, it is. It is Tanaka. Okay, I saw a pitching change someplace, but it wasn't another game. Okay.
Yesterday's game, for instance, Atlanta has really struggled against left-handed pitching. If you look at what they're slashing against left-handed pitching, it's night and day different than what they were able to do last year against left-handed pitching. I talked earlier about Minnesota. Minnesota's got an OPS of 6 and change, and they were the top offense against left-handed pitching in Major League Baseball. This is too small a sample size, but we have to use something. And in this situation, the Braves, if Acura is in the leadoff spot and he's hitting it and that wrist is okay.
I think I don't know that he's going to be playing tonight.
I don't either. Is he out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the last I heard, yeah.
He makes a huge difference in this Braves offense. And I hate to put it all on one player, but it's a difference maker. And Tanaka has been spot the F on. How the heck do you not like Tanaka in this situation today in Yankee Stadium where the Yankees are undefeated and can go long deep? So you got to like Tanaka. If you don't, then you should be getting a good price, and you are here.
Aaron Judge, by the way, 9 homers already.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Good. Big hits a home run.
Notable to mention is,
I'm sorry?
Well, those home runs aren't just coming early in games. They're coming in clutch time as well.
Yeah, they're an awfully good team. I hate saying that because, I detest the Yankees, but they're really good.
We had a couple guys 2 days ago that really want us to touch on the Baltimore and Philadelphia series. I just want to, first of all, get your thoughts on yesterday's game, Tony, and your thoughts on this one here. We see Philadelphia at Pinnacle here, minus 179 favorites in this one.
And you're asking, do I think that price is right? Was that what you're asking? The Phillies? Yes. First off, if you're pitching and hitting against LeBlanc, it depends on the offense, but this is absolutely the right number. If the Phillies are on, the number should be 280, minus 280. They're also a team that can strike out 10 times and hit 10 home runs in a game. I've the hardest time reading this Philadelphia offense against pitchers. They're rarely consistent. They're rarely consistent against the same pitcher. However, there's a lot of questions on the mound for Philly and Eflin. Is he healthy? What's he going to do for this team? The Orioles have been a surprise, but if Eflin pitches, if LeBlanc pitches more than 5 today and holds Philly to less than 4 runs, then he's a surprise for me. I think the price is right.
I think the price is wrong. I think it's too high.
Okay.
I made the line 150. The Phillies are not playing the type of baseball that justifies them being this much of a favorite over anybody. And if you saw that comedy of errors yesterday, where they gave up an inside the park home run, and then they can't catch a pop-up at the infield. It was a pop-up. Okay, and you got 4 guys running around like Keystone Cops. The pitcher doesn't know what to do. They're a bad baseball team. They've got talent, but they're a bad baseball team.
Dave, did you see the bottom of that inning? I think it was the 10th or whatever. There's runners on second and third. 1 out. It's a 2-0 count. And I think it was Quinn, the same idiot who didn't keep the ball in front of him in center field. He takes a defensive swing on an off-speed ball that's already heading towards the ground on a 2-0 count with the tying run on third base. It's just terrible. This Phillies team, I'm a Phillies fan, okay? I wore this as a joke today, but they are the laughing stock of the MLB right now.
And a lot of their guys have just been overrated. Hoskins should not be hitting in the 2-hole. Roman Quinn, maybe it's all the injuries that he suffered, but he's not going to be the player they thought he was going to be, and I don't see him as a big league regular. They're kind of overrated. Again.
They have the worst bullpen, in my opinion. Us 4 can go probably pitch out of their bullpen right now. It's so bad. It's very frustrating to watch as a Phillies fan.
And I would say that Eflin, it wasn't a year ago about this time, guys, that Eflin was demoted to that bullpen. He is that bullpen. That's what you're getting. And I guess Dave, it's depending on what you're going to handicap in a game. I can handicap the Keystone Cop stuff, but typically in this situation, I think the price is based on pitching, in my opinion, at least the pitching matchup.
So Hunter not only says
it's also based on reputation because the Phillies. I think the Phillies win the game. I'm not playing the Orioles here. I'm just telling you the price is too high. If you're just looking on value, you take the Orioles. I don't play strictly on value, so I'm not doing it. But if I were the type of handicapper who was a model-based player who strictly went volume, and fired on any value spots, I
agree.
would definitely take the Orioles here.
I agree.
Yeah.
So,
I
so
think
Hunter,
with the
I know
play-
you're a
yeah.
first 5 innings guy. We got
Yeah.
someone here saying, I love my Phillies. Man, their defense and bullpen stinks. So I know that from your perspective, you bet first 5 innings, but would you tell people, hey, if you usually bet full games, don't with this team?
Well, full game wise for Phillies, I'm either going to play the overs or not at all. If I'm going to bet first 5 on this team, I'm going to bet it when Wheeler or Nola's pitching. Any other day, I'm just not even going to look at it. But if I'm going to look on anything, it's going to be full game overs for this Phillies team in general, as we see their bullpen just continues to let up runs, and this lineup can put up runs. I mean, they're putting up a lot of runs, but the bullpen and the pitchers are just not keeping it.
Dave, it's the Nationals and the Mets here. I believe where I'm checking right now, it's still listed undecided for the New York Mets, but Sanchez is on the mound here. And right now, the price I'm seeing is minus 115 at some spots here in favor of this Washington Nationals team. 9.5 is the posted total.
Yeah, I'm not sure who it's going to be for them. I guess it'll be an opener situation. Might be Oswalt. Might be I wrote somebody else down and I can't read my own writing. So whoever it is, it's not very, very good. I don't trust Sanchez right now. He took a while to come around last year, and he kind of looks like the same guy this year. He's getting strikeouts, but he's also leaving some pitches in the middle of the plate. And the Mets do have enough power to do some damage there. Nationals offense still isn't there. I mean, the numbers are hideous. I can't back him.
Moving forward to our next game here, I have the Houston Astros taking on the San Francisco Giants. And look, as much fun as I've had making fun of this Houston Astros team, and it has been fun, and it'll continue to be fun. Tony, I think that you have to, or I have to, start looking more towards this team. I think if there's any spot that I'd like to bet against or bet on this Houston Astros team right now, it's going to be against the San Francisco Giants. I think that, look at some of the bats that this team has, and they're bound to wake up. And I don't usually say stuff like that too often, but I agree with it in this spot, just based off of, the way that they're swinging the bat. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. I'm not really buying it. Greinke gets the start for the Stros, posting a 3 ERA to start, pitched 6 shutout innings in his last outing. And I don't like Cahill. So I like Greinke here, and I like the Astros.
If you don't know anything else than what you're looking at right here, and that is that if you don't know what who the lineups are, who's at 1 through 9 for the Astros, 1 through 9 for the Giants, and you're looking at just this. The fact is, you're getting Greinke against Cahill. That's enough. It's really enough for me to know this. It's enough for me to know that I should be laying $1.50, $1.75 if Houston even half of what they should be, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm showing a pick'em game. So
really,
what's the number on this game? What do you have on this game?
$2.
Do you have $2?
Roughly.
Okay. I apologize. I didn't mean to pick.
Cahill stinks, and the Giants are terrible.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pick.
The run line is around even money, minus 105.
That's because I have that 1.5 up there. I was absolutely shocked when I saw it, because I passed right over this game. At this point in time, we have talked. The three of us have talked enough about Houston and how much they're unreliable, and they're absolutely not worth the price that we usually have to lay if you're going to back them.
I would back them tonight. I
would agree.
Trevor Cahill's horror show. They can whack him.
We all know what Greinke can do against a good lineup. So even at this age.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones, right? They've lost 6 of their last 7 games, and it's so easy for anybody to bet against a bad team. The problem is how many people are now starting to call this Houston Astros a bad team. And I feel like this is so typical, and you see it in every sport, and this is opinion based, but I think this is just the point where some people are just going to start to formulate an opinion and a genuine betting hatred against the Astros. And boom, that's when they start getting it going again. And, when the prices get better on the run line and when people start betting against them. So again, if there's a team that I want to be betting on the Astros against, it's going to be the Giants to hopefully see if they can start something off here. That's just how I feel about that one. We'll go with Tampa. Snell taking on Godley here. I'll go over to you here with this one, Dave.
Snell he looks like Snell again. And Boston is just, and Tampa, they might as well make Fenway Park their home because they've been great in this ballpark. I think they've won like 9 straight games there or something like that. And nice edge on the mound with Snell against Godley. And it's all in the price. So it's not a play for me, but I expect Tampa to win.
We'll
go around the horn on this one, actually. Hunter, any thoughts on this one?
Nope. I totally stayed away. I almost put in a play for the first half under last night, and I should have. It was only 3. I just couldn't pull the trigger. But with Snell on the mound, I mean, I don't know how you can play against Snell, especially when the Red Sox are, in my opinion, they are the most apparent team who is tanking this year, who doesn't care and just wants to get draft picks. The wind is blowing out in Fenway. I don't like Godley. The number I think is at 5 right now, but if I had to bet, I would bet, the Tampa Bay run line -1.5. But in my personal opinion, I'm staying away.
Tony, is there a play that stands out for you here?
No. Well, yeah. I mean, it stands out. Snell stands out. I mean, Godley was pretty good against the Red Sox. He was in his appearances. He was pretty good at the Red Sox. He wasn't very good. He wasn't very good in any other appearance. So if you still think the Boston is a standard or any kind of a measure to measure a pitcher, then you would measure Godley as being above average. But he's just not, in my opinion. He's not, and he's a play against, especially against a guy like Snell.
Last game up here, Seattle. Walker taking on Lyles and the Rangers here. I'll go to you here, Dave, to close things out for us. And then if you can, follow us up with your DFS stud and sleeper, please.
Nothing much in this game. I think the line's about right. The Rangers, of course, are not hitting. Seattle's just a bad baseball team. If I had to bet it, I'd probably go ahead and take Seattle. The price is going up some, but not really interested in it. I will try and post, once I know the info, I'll post it on Twitter as to whether the roof is closed or open tonight. It clearly appears to be a difference maker in that ballpark. It was open on Monday. Ball was flying. It was closed yesterday, and the ball was not flying. So it looks like it makes a difference. I have one play up, and that's it. One baseball play. I do have a hockey play, but it's all access players only. If I can get a free play video done, I was having some technical issues with that this morning. If I'm able to do that, I will give out the hockey game as the free play. And the baseball game's available right now. Best bet at wagertalk.com.
And your DFS stud and sleeper, Dave.
Oh, sorry about that. I forgot about that. Yeah, I guess I would just have to go with Maeda because I think you're going to get some innings out of him. He's not going to go real deep. He'll probably only go 6, but with Milwaukee doing nothing offensively in the first 5 innings of games, worst offense in baseball so far, first 5 innings. You want a good starting pitcher? He looks like the guy tonight. As far as the stack goes, I actually think the Astros, find some of the cheaper Astros. They're going against Trevor Cahill. That's a chance for some Astros to do some damage tonight. Find the less expensive guys in that team.
I would agree with that as well. I think we're going to get some pretty generous prices on some of these fantasy lineup websites based off how they performed recently. You can go down the lineup and probably get some generous prices with some Astro players. Any pitcher from you, Tony, and a couple of batters from certain teams to look towards for fantasy daily fantasy?
I'll take a flyer on the value play. And I've talked about how bad or not bad, how they're tanking, and that's Seattle. But Deshaun Walker tonight against the Rangers lineup.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Gardenhire. He's just such an ass. Okay, again, he leaves Matthew Boyd, who's got absolute nothing. And I'm not upset because I'm not involved in the game. But Boyd has been garbage this season, and he left him.
Tony owes me a beer.
He leaves him in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think Gardenhire. Yeah, he heard me, Dave. He said, "I'll take the Tigers -200 right now. I'm behind, down 6-5."
He leaves him in again too long, and of course, Boyd gives up a 3-run. Looks like a 3-run double.
Yeah,
unbelievable. He is. Gardenhire is. I know the Tigers are playing good, but anybody who thinks Ron Gardenhire has ever been a good manager is out of their mind.
I wish I could find the comment that we had. We had one guy that said about 3 times this team's going to blow it. This team's going to blow it. He didn't even sound worried about it in the comment section. And there you go. Jess hit the over, and the Sox cashed that one. So
it's
congrats
still
to anybody
early. It's
that
only
had
the
that.
fifth inning. So
Yeah, exactly. It's only early, but I don't
but
think
back
Detroit
to-
gets the lead back.
to Sean Walker. I mean, take Walker and Seattle against the Rangers lineup. I'm not going to back a Seattle pitcher. I'm not going to back their bullpen. I'm not going to back Seattle for that matter. But tonight, if you're looking for a sleeper in the fantasy realm, you're going to get Walker fairly cheap and going against the Rangers lineup. And as Dave said, if you can find out about the roof, that's great, because there's people comparing, Dave, the Arizona roof to this Texas roof. And when Arizona roof's open, the ball flies.
Yep.
So if they're going to compare it like that, then it pays to find out if you can. Without question. Good point.
I'm going to recommend a bet right now on a different sport, and this is the NHL. I'm going to go.
He's still leaving him in the game, and he gave up another double just now. This guy's amazing.
I want to recommend that anyone that's watching this Boston Bruins game versus the Carolina Hurricanes to hop on this Bruins team. It's a steep price you're paying with the minus 150, but I think the Bruins are the far, far better team in this series. And, I think we've seen it throughout the game. Bruins are on the power play heading into the second overtime, and that's the way to go here, I believe. Power plays are important, and this is the most experienced and veteran team out of the two. And that's just the bet that I just hopped on myself at minus 150. Hunter, where should we go to stack our lineups as far as daily fantasy goes, and where are you looking for a sleeper pitcher?
Well, I wish you came to me before Tony, because he stole mine. I think for the price that you can get him against the team that he's playing against, I think it's a no-brainer. Tajon Walker, in my opinion, play him today for that price. He is a strikeout guy. He has been striking guys out. So that's all I got. I really don't have a really good play here that's expensive, but I would play Alex Bregman coming off a home run last night. I know he's going to be a little more expensive, but against Cahill, I think Bregman goes yard again tonight after some confidence after yesterday.
You can find Hunter at Sports Memo. You can find Dave and Tony at wagertalk.com. I have a 5% play going off in the NHL tonight. You can grab it for just $2. For Dave, for Tony, for Hunter, this is First Pitch, a 7-day-a-week show right here on Wager Talk TV. Let's cash some winners tonight, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow right here on Wager Talk TV.
And good luck tonight, everybody.